Today's objective is I can determine the credibility of a website based on a variety of criteria. A few think right shares. I'm going to have you choose some questions to determine credibility. You get to pick which questions you like the most. In this topic of credibility, we won't have any third-party videos for you to watch today. What we've not started is learning to code at all. Haven't touched that topic yet in class. What we are working on is planning a website, and credibility will be one of the foremost issues you need to think about when planning to create your own website. What we have completed is yesterday you've learned the class expectations and routines we'll have for the entire year. Alright, so let's get started. Websites need to be evaluated. So here's some bullet points on things we should think about when evaluating a website's credibility. Number one, the web has no monitors. Anyone is allowed to post anything, and no one is double checking those facts. Now, yes, a web page or a website itself may have monitors, admins, moderators looking, deleting, or adding to people's submissions, but the web as a whole isn't governed by any one particular country or group of people. You do have the 3W consortium. That's a topic for another day. Some of the information you encounter might not be accurate or even true. Number three, different websites serve different purposes. Depending on what you are looking for, a website may or may not fit your needs. You have to look carefully at the website, the author, the information, and more to see if the information is accurate and reliable. Last one, different people publish websites for different purposes. So as a think right share, I want you to choose 3 points to turn into questions that you can ask when you visit a website. So for example, let's take the last one. Different people publish websites for different purposes. Does sound a lot like this one right here, number 3. Well, different people publish websites for different purposes. A simple question could be, what is the purpose of this website? You write that down. Ask yourself that every time you visit a new site. Funny cartoon here. What do you mean all my facts are wrong? I copied everything straight off the internet. I want you to think to yourself, have you ever found yourself in a similar situation? I remember a long time ago, teachers used to rail against Wikipedia. College professors would say, do not go to Wikipedia for research or for information. It's inaccurate. Anybody can post to it. But nowadays, Wikipedia is pretty acceptable. In fact, I remember reading statistics saying Wikipedia has less errors than Encyclopedia Britannica. So credibility, it can change over time. From the next few slides, I'd like you to think of additional questions to add to your toolbox. And then at the very end of class, we'll be choosing different websites for you to ask these questions. So I'm curious to see what answers you come up with. If you have no idea what website to visit to start asking questions like this, I suggest Reddit, Slashdot, NASA, ESPN, Ars Technica. I mean, these are some of the websites I visit the most and enjoy. Websites are published for different purposes. Does your site fit your needs? We don't have a website evaluation key on our keyboards, so think. If you're going to a retail site, that's for shopping. Recreational websites for entertainment, informational ones for curiosity's sake. You can go to scholarly websites for research and educational purposes. You can even find yourself on a propaganda site, and that'll be a site that's only presenting one side of an idea or an opinion. Let's start with author check. Even if you can contact the author and they are qualified, you should still ask questions about them, like what are their bias? What are their political beliefs? Are they trying to sell you something ultimately? Are they giving your information to a third party to try to sell you something? Also, just within the URL alone, you can learn a lot about a site. .gov is for government sites. EDUs, college and university sites. .orgs are nonprofits. .com, for profit. There are so many more URLs out there now. .tv, .net. I have even seen .pizza. If you aren't sure, do research as to what these extensions mean. Does the site have spelling errors? That'll be a red flag as to its credibility. or grammatical errors or broken links. And now, sure, some of those errors, like grammatical errors, could be because it's a person's website who has English as their second language. The information may be totally legit on the site. They're just not used to using the English language. Have you seen the information elsewhere? If not, that might be an issue. Dates on websites are important. When you um, go to a website, if you can tell when it was last updated, that can be insightful. Some topics like technology require frequent updating. Another time-based question is, when was the article on that website published? If the information is old, things may have changed since the site was published. This is true for books too. I remember reading a Neil deGrasse Tyson book. It was published in, I think, 2008 or so, Space Chronicles, and it's about an asteroid that is expected to hit Earth in 2036, and so that may very well have been the end of life as we know it. The asteroid name was Apophis. That's the Egyptian snake god of chaos, apparently. But only a few years later, scientists figured out that this asteroid is not presenting any danger to us. So, again, check dates and expect changes to happen, even in areas such as science. Things change. Another thing to keep in mind, you don't know who is doing the typing or publishing on websites. On the internet, nobody knows you're a dog, says the comic. Some comments I read online, they don't seem to be from humans. That seems pretty obvious at times. And yes, there are bots out there creating comments. Sometimes they identify themselves as bots, sometimes they do not. All right, and so that's pretty much the lecture portion of class today. We're not going to do a reading assignment so much as we're going to log in to sololearn.com, create an account, and start the very first module so you can familiate yourself with HTML. That way, when we talk about it tomorrow, you'll know a little bit about where I'm coming from. So for the demonstration of learning today, why would a business spend time analyzing competitors' websites? So analyzing for credibility. Okay, this is an essential question. We'll have this question come up a few more times, and your answers may change over the next few days as we learn different information. So that's going to be okay. So number one, central question. Number two, what are the first two questions you think should be asked in order to determine a website's reliability? And I want you to use this website to ask and then answer those two questions for me, okay? Here's a website, the link's at the bottom of that PowerPoint. This website is the Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus. So choose two questions that'd be good to ask to determine the credibility of this website.